not let anyone define your limits.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Rod and welcome to Impact TCG, where we cover all things Disney Lorcana here on the channel. But today we have a very special topic for you. Now, we all know that Disney and Ravensburger are planning to announce the Lorcana competitive circuit sometime in 2024. So at any point now, we could be getting some information on Lorcana at a competitive level and official at that. But with that, so many people believe that we need to be thinking about a potential forbidden limited slash ban list, whatever you want to call it, for the game. There are some cards in the game that probably need to be looked at and be checked, but hey, this video is all opinion based, and I also got a lot of feedback from my friends and other players that I know, and even some feedback on Twitter on some potential cards to be checked by a potential ban list. I got a lot of interesting answers, and I can't wait to get into this. It's going to be fun. But before we do get into it, please make sure you check out our last video. I'm doing our very first giveaway here on the channel. You guys can enter a drawing to receive both copies, one of each of these Cinderellas right here. It's gonna be so fun for me to be able to give these away to a lucky subscriber. All you have to do is subscribe and comment under this video or the previous video, which I will leave a link in the description. Now go ahead, hit that like and that sub button, hey, and leave that comment. Let's get it. So of course we can say the primary culprit of the Lorcana meta right now that everyone's talking about, it's not hard. Pretty much 90% of the community can probably agree that Be Prepared may be a problematic card, and maybe I'm exaggerating those numbers a little bit, but we know that Be Prepared is arguably one of the best cards in the game. It's a complete board reset, but a lot of people think that it's allowed the Ruby Amethyst decks, or any Ruby deck at that, to be very predictable, especially on that infamous turn 7. Some people even think that it can be used as a crutch, and they feel like the Ruby deck is leaning on the fact that they have Be Prepared to lean on in any situation that they get in, and on top of being able to play those top end Ruby cards. So in combination with those, I've been told that it's very problematic. But I do think myself that Be Prepared may need to be checked. Now, I'm not talking about an outright ban, like completely no one can use it type of thing. However, I do think that it wouldn't be a bad idea for this card to get checked, maybe in a semi-limited or limited fashion in some way. Maybe instead of being at 4, it could be at 3, even though so many people already play it at 3 anyway. But so many people are playing it at 4 as well. Now, like I said, this is all opinion based. Everyone has their opinions, but this is just my opinion, along with other things that I've been told from other people on how they feel about the current game state right now. So so many people think that Be Prepared is a very toxic card. I don't think it's necessarily toxic. I mean, Ruby is the removal ink. You know, we don't want to kill what the ink is supposed to do completely, but some things are just a little bit too overpowered. But it would definitely be okay if all the other inks had some sort of game wrecking or game changing card like Be Prepared. Be Prepared it's just so powerful. It's a complete board wipe, resets everything. If every ink had their own trademark card in that way, it may make this card a lot more fair. But just right now, with only having 2 sets in the game, you know, that's just not possible. So moving on to the Next card, Fishbone Quill. So many people have told me that Fishbone Quill is a problem right now in the meta, and I have heard so many Sapphire players say that you need this card in order to get your ramp really going. You know, it basically fuels your Inkwell turn after turn after turn, or however long that they need it. But it's a very good card. However, so many people think that the card is being used in decks, or being abused in decks like Popsicle Control. They think it's almost unfair in a way. You know, I don't think the card is necessarily unfair, but like I said, this is what I've been told from others. I also had somebody tell me that it was a lot more balanced before Popsicle Control was a thing. Because they weren't able to keep as many cards in their hand, you know, by drawing them. But when the Harem engine and the Popsicle cards came out, they're just drawing cards like crazy. So they've got plenty of cards to be able to ink, and I do see that point. And being able to be at, you know, 8 to 10 ink by turn 5, it could be a huge momentum shift. And I've had people tell me that it's not good for the game. You know, like I said, I personally don't think Fishbone Quill is that much of a problem, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was checked by some sort of ban list that Ravensburger may apply. The next card, I've heard a lot more people actually talk about this one, but the man himself, the GOAT himself, Merlin. Now, we've all seen Merlin just straight up steal games from players. I'm talking about being at 19 or even being at like 16, and they hit a combo with the Arthur and boom boom boom, that's 4 lore right there and you're at game. It is kind of cool to see that, but some players in the community don't really like that. But you know, we know that the GOAT breaks the mechanic of the game. That's what makes good cards good. Like, they break the game mechanic, and the GOAT does that. It's just a good card. Some people don't like it. I don't feel like the GOAT is that much of a problem, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if I were to see this card to get checked on a future list in some sort of fashion. Some people think it's just being abused with the other bounce cards, you know, being able to bounce it back and forth in and out of your hand. But at the same time, you know, Amethyst has, you know, its own holes. However, just being more commonly paired with Ruby nowadays, it's very good. GOAT right now is, oh my gosh. Now, the next card that I've been told is a problem in the meta is Whole New World. Now, this one kind of shocked me when I had about 3 people tell me this. Now, I didn't think that Whole New World was unfair at all, but you know, it can be abused in some way. See, I personally think it allows players to be able to combat those other inks with that immense draw power, like your Sapphires and your Popsicle Control decks of the world, and all the draw power that the Amethyst engine has, all the draw power that Rapunzel gives Amber. Just being able to draw 3 cards, so easy. You know, I think it's a fair way for Steel to be able to keep up with those other draw engines, and I think it's completely fair. Now, it's also not always good, which makes it fair as well. You know, some players hardcast Whole New World out of desperateness because they feel like they have to, but a lot of times when you feel like you have to hardcast it and you don't really have a follow-up after that, a lot of times you're just losing the game anyway. But when you do use this card optimally, oh my gosh, it can be devastating, and I'm sure we've all seen that at some point, you know, especially in Amber. They can really abuse that card. So be prepared. Fishbone Quill, Merlin GOAT, and Whole New World are the 4 cards that I heard complaints about the most in the metagame when I was asking so many people. But I also think, you know, there is a lot of merit behind these arguments. Now, before we end the video, I just want to get into a few honorable mentions from some people who I got on Twitter. I had somebody say Bucky and Prince John and how it's very hard to interact with them. I had somebody say Cusco, so the king, AY Breezy, this was for you right here. The king's still out there causing people a lot of problems at their locals apparently. I had somebody say do it again and Smash. I can tell when somebody has not had a good time or a good experience playing against certain cards. These cards have apparently terrorized these people to where they think that they may need to be on a potential ban list, and hey, perhaps they will one day. You never know how these new cards are going to be able to interact with the old cards. You know, we've got a long way to go. You know, it's very early in the game right now. Ravensburger is going to release a lot of cards that are going to make some old cards good that weren't good once before. So you never know when some of these cards may end up seeing a ban list if Lorcana were to implement one. Now, don't forget to like and subscribe right now here on the video, and don't forget we have the giveaway going. You're gonna get one copy each of both of these Cinderellas right here. All you have to do is comment on this video or the previous video, which I will be leaving a link in the description below. And don't forget the last thing, whatever you do, wherever you go, always make an impact.